Okay, stop.
I can't. I've already hit record.
Oh my God. Roll that window behind you. Roll the screens down because all I'm seeing is flashes.
Flashes of what?
Slashes. There you go. I can see me now.
Yeah, I just had to turn it over.
Hi, Al.
Hi, everybody. I tagged you and Josh in there, even though that Josh isn't here. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can get this going on over here. Let's see. It should still be recording us. They just can't see me doing this. Yes.
I see. That's brilliant, Blaine.
Yeah, I know.
You are a computer nerd.
I am. Look, Melissa's on here. That's
Who?
Oh, she went away.
Who?
Melissa. She's a fellow realtor. Well, I can hear you.
Okay.
So we can call people out when they go on, so that way they feel bad if they pop in and then pop off. Like, you popped in.
Yeah, but at least you popped in. Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
She may not come back and hear this portion of us talking about her, so maybe we can start talking about it.
Nonetheless,
we can start talking about her.
So this is a new thing for me. I'm on the computer screen.
Yeah. Oh, it's Stacy. Hey,
hi, Stacy.
Let me tell you something about Stacy.
Uh-oh.
I literally just found out that she loves football. And not only does she love football, but it's so weird that not only does she like football, but she likes the Broncos.
I'm glad she doesn't like the Cowboys. Thank you, Stacy, for being a non-Cowboys fan.
Those are two things I had known nothing about her with the whole her liking football.
I like football.
So do I.
And I love to watch the Cowboys
win.
Lose.
Oh yeah.
Lose.
No, and by the way, she's already gone, I think. Oh. By the way, I think she's already gone, but just in case if she pops back on, I'm just kidding. I always give her a hard time. Like, there was one point like 3 or 4 years ago, I really truly didn't know that she liked football. So when she was like, yeah, I'm a Broncos fan, I was like, you like football? And then every football season, I'm like, you like football? So it's like my thing.
You really like football?
She likes football.
Cool. That's my wife likes football.
Everybody likes football. They just don't know it.
Not me.
You love football.
I am not a football fan.
Why not?
Because it's a very destructive game and it hurts lots and lots of men that have given their lives to it. And it's an overpaid sport that is just ridiculous.
My sexy wife is now watching.
Ha!
She's so
Christy.
Sexy. She's so
I
sexy.
won't call you what he said.
Sexy Christy Renee Blaine. Let me sing to you.
Don't.
Let me sing to. What happened? Oh, I turned off. There we go. Let me sing to you, Christy. Yeah. I love you, Christy.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Sorry, Christy. Not for making him stop, but for making him stop.
She says she's the greatest fan.
She's a what?
She says I'm the greatest fan. She's right up there. She's right up there because she's listened. I've heard her snickering over there listening to us too. I'm like, she'll start snickering. I'm like, are you listening to us? And she's like, maybe.
Thanks, Christy.
I told her.
You and Dewey.
Yeah, and Dewey dropped in and put a like on there. So
awesome. Hey, Dewey.
But no, he's not watching. I think Christy's the only one that's currently watching.
Oh,
but Dewey is our number 1 fan. We've named Brian our number 2 fan, but
Christy is our number 1 female fan.
Oh, there you go, Christy. If you're still
how's that?
Yeah, there you go. Christy, you're
so
sexy, but you're our number 1 fan too. You're so sexy.
Quit.
Sorry.
You can't go there.
Yeah, I can. She's my wife. Can't. I can talk to her that way.
No, you can't.
See, look,
I'm in the room.
She says I'm only 3 episodes behind. Yay me. So whenever Josh actually gets here, you will be 4 episodes behind. If Josh actually does get here.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Josh.
Yeah. We're
hopeful that he makes it.
Well, I'm recording this episode too, so this may be like episode 17. Facebook. Yeah. Facebook Live. And if someone actually listens, they're going to be like, What? I don't see any of this stuff, so that's why I'm reading all this stuff around. But, yeah. Christy, you're so sexy. Yeah.
Can you tell that we found a new toy on our soundboard?
Yeah. And then
we have found the effects button.
If you're still, it shows that someone's still watching, so I'm assuming it's Christy. Is the effects coming through, Christy? We will be sitting here in silence until you answer.
Waiting. Tell us.
While she's
is it happening?
But while she's hopefully responding to us, I told you something earlier, and since Josh isn't here, I'll retell it when we get to the podcast. I was looking at some stats, right? And we had someone download an episode from the Netherlands.
Wow.
So we have all of the, we average, like I said, about 14 episodes. Okay, it's echoing. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful. You're so sexy. Stop it. Sorry. So, we average about 14 downloads per episode, right? And ever since I've joined a couple of podcasts, the very first episode, which I will reintroduce into our new episode, whenever it be this week or next week with Josh, do we need to delete the first like 4 episodes? Because okay, so we got a yes. I'm a yes.
Yes.
Because now
majority rules.
The first episode has 27 downloads. Yes, the first episode, because when we got this and we started getting all this stuff ironed out, I started joining these podcasting groups, and I've been asking people to listen to our podcast.
The very first one, though.
Well, no, I just tell them to listen to
pick one.
Well, the latest one or whatever, but everyone will always go to the first episode. There's only 16 episodes, so of course we're going to go to the first one. The very first one I recorded through this mic versus the Yeti mic.
Yeah.
So 27 downloads is a lot for us
that's
right
cool.
now. Yeah,
that's very cool.
So, and it's crap audio, it's crap me, it's not us, it's not what the Fire Resistant podcast is.
Don't be talking about my buddy like that.
Oh, thanks. Oh, Denise was or currently listening.
Denise who? Anger?
Yeah, our pastor's wife is up here.
Hey, preacher's wife.
Preacher's wife. I can't sing to you the way I just sang to my wife. That might get your
punched in the face.
That might get
or the throat.
That might get angry.
Oh, that's funny.
That's true. You see what I did? So I don't know actually, because it says 1 up here, so I don't know if
there's 2.
Oh, there's 2. So maybe she came back. So
nope, she left.
Come
on, y'all.
We have people jump in and be like, "Oh God,
oh my God, what are they talking about?"
We're still talking. The one time when I first got this set up and I had was it just us, Brett, Christy, the boys, my grandma, my grandma Blaine. We were talking about this, and she's like, she turned on the video. She's like, I started watching, and then I realized it was an hour and a half. And she goes, and then I turned it off because I'm not going to watch that. The very first time, remember when we got all this, I did like a recording from our house just to test all 4 of the mics to make sure that, Grandma jumped on. I was like, yeah, an hour and a half. She's like, what did you even talk about for an hour and a half? I was like, I don't know, Brett.
You would be amazed at what you can talk about for an hour and a half.
I was like, Brett pulled something over the top of pulled his shirt over the top of his head. But,
like Cornholio?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Brett and I did watch. I showed him Beavis and Butthead.
Really?
Yeah.
I am the great Cornholio. He wants a TV for my mom.
This is the Fire Resistant Podcast.
Welcome to this
is
Facebook Live edition of the Fire Resistant Podcast.
We're welcoming.
That is Aaron.
We're welcoming people.
I'm Fred.
We're welcoming people at 8 minutes.
We're glad you're here. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Share the link. Yeah.
You should at least get a good laugh out of it.
Yeah. Especially when Christy jumps in and says that she's here, because then I can sing to her.
More singing. Who else is up there? We got 3 people watching now.
We got 3 people.
Awesome.
Maybe
y'all.
Maybe we shouldn't mention that because maybe they they know we're watching. And then jump back on. See, that's
come on, y'all.
Yeah.
We don't know who you are.
Well, most people don't. What?
You don't know who they are.
We don't know. I really don't. It just jumps on. Sometimes it'll say they join, like here's where Stacy joined and here's where it shows Christy joined, but it didn't show where Denise joined in.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So what we do is we should do like this.
You know what the problem? I just realized we have a giraffe in our background. Right there. This is the Frogs youth ministry, not youth ministry. Actually, it's the kids ministry.
It's Frog. I think it's still Frog.
Yeah, Frog.
Yeah,
but it's little kids from.
No, this is the Fire Resistant Studios. We like giraffes. This is also a famous room because when Dexter was smaller, he saw that frog over there and we were doing a Super Bowl party, and the TV was facing over there toward the camera, and we were sitting over here, and he saw the frog, and he turned around and he said what sounded like the F word really loud. And Christy and I both looked at each other like, what the heck did he just say? And like no one, the football game was on, no one was really paying attention. We were paying attention because we're parents. And then like he pointed at the wall and he went what sounded like the F word again, and we're like, oh, frog. So yeah.
Is that where the Ministry of Name came from?
What?
Frog. The frog use.
I don't know, but that did start the famous or the infamous Blaine household story of me getting Dexter to say frog many times until he started saying it correctly, and then it wasn't fun anymore.
Frog.
Yeah, I would say, hey Dexter, tell Uncle Jer frog you, and he would be like, "Ree."
You were a bad dad.
All right, Christy said, I'm getting off. Let's go get his food. Let me know if Fred wants anything. Do you want some food?
What are you having?
Well, no. Normally we stop at Brahms.
Brahms, yes. A 3rd-pound burger.
Was that number 1?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Mustard
ketchup. That's interesting.
No ketchup, no mayonnaise, no Brahms sauce.
So just dry?
Mustard. All the veggies.
Hopefully she's still listening because it still shows 2. Yeah. Way to be professional. That's your wife calling saying, get off the internet. Everybody's talking about you. Oh, he's really got to take this. I got the look. Now he's left me by myself. Now we have 3 people listening or watching. Oh, it was his wife too. Now it's just me.
We're doing a Facebook Live.
Now I'm having. It's okay. It's okay. We can still hear you. I'm just kidding, by the way. So we're just doing this for fun until Josh gets here. If he does actually get here, we're also recording. You want to put her on so that everyone can hear her?
Okay, bye.
Maybe not. The podcast is this way, not that way. I don't drink on camera. That's disrespectful to the listeners and the viewers. So
sorry, y'all. Had to take that as a laugh.
When the wife calls, you pick up.
You answer the phone.
Kind of like
kind of like Josh last week when his wife called. He went home.
Yeah. Was it last week or was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is we've done probably 12 episodes. The 16 total with me doing the singular ones, but Christy will bring up some stuff that we talked about, and I don't remember.
We talk about a lot of stuff.
She was talking about how a couple things here and there. I was like, oh, because the one episode where she thought that it was going to get weird between you and Josh.
Me and Josh.
Yeah, she thought it was going to get weird, and it didn't get weird. And I was like, oh no, hold on. I think as the next episode, things get a little weird, and then she hasn't listened to the episode yet, but she'll get there. I'm like, yeah, things got a little
Was that
weird.
when we talked about, or I brought up the flag, and it was just went completely weird?
Yeah,
because I was going to say something completely different than what he thought.
Right. Well, it was a proper Dewey episode.
Proper Dewey, is correct.
Because Dewey was sitting here and he was like, it just got real up in here. But oh man,
I'm sorry.
It hurts. But yeah, I told her it gets weird at one point. It gets weird. So far, I don't think there's been any weirdness between anybody but you and him.
And it really wasn't. It was a complete misunderstanding. He presumed that I was going to go one way, and I was not. It had nothing to do with that at all.
Right.
And it just doesn't. Had nothing to do with it.
Well, cool. Well,
hey, I still love Josh. He's my buddy, my brother. I'd die for him.
He's 1/3 of the Fire Resistant
He
podcast.
is 1/3. Third of us.
1/3 of the Fire Resistant podcast. You know what? I don't feel like we're whole when he's not here.
It is lacking something for sure.
Yeah.
So we should sign off. No.
Well, we should, and we're at 15 minutes.
But we do, Josh. If you hear this,
yeah, we do.
We miss you,
Josh.
Sir.
Josh knows that I love him.
I know y'all are planning on making babies with your two
Whoa,
kids.
whoa.
Your two kids. Y'all being grandparents together.
Let me fresh. Fresh. Fred.
Fresh. Okay, they have two kids
Yep.
that are really close to the same age.
Well,
Josh has a little boy. His name is Josh Jr. And Blaine has his daughter, whose name is Elise. And they've already planned on being grandparents together, sitting on the front porch, rocking in their chairs and drinking coffee and holding their babies,
yes.
grandbabies.
Yes.
I won't call them what y'all did.
Our caramel baby.
Caramel babies. There you go.
I it's so funny when we talk about it, and Christy thinks it's funny too. And what'll end up happening is we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna joke about this, and they're gonna end up like hating each other.
No, they won't hate each other.
When I say hate each other, I meant like it'll be like a brother sister thing, or they'll run off together and get an elope, and they'll make us all mad because they didn't.
But you have a big fancy wedding
Yeah.
and spend $20,000 that you don't need to.
Maybe that's what I should push for. Elise, you don't need a big wedding. You need to elope. Save Daddy some money.
That's the wrong way to do it.
You said you want your burger dry.
No, I want it with mustard only, and all the veggies.
But number one, mustard
Cheese.
only.
With cheese.
With cheese. There. That was very okay. Good. And there's nobody watching, so I got away with that. So now we can
Diggity.
Now we can drink and curse,
Hot dog.
and now I can sing to Christy again. Yeah.
Hey.
What?
Hey. Hold up.
We should have
Going
some.
back to the 50s.
We should set it up to where all of us have access to that. So if you want to use it,
Just break out in a song.
yeah, because I think there should be enough chord to where anyone can just reach over there and be like, "Hey, everybody, what's up?" Or maybe I should have it. Okay, that's what we do. That's what we do is we have the we have everybody turned down, right?
Down.
On the FX, we have the FX turned up all the way. So
Up.
So if you wanted to make yourself do it, then you just turn your knob, or I'd turn my knob and be like, "Okay, buddy." See, I would have that. You would still sound normal. See?
I still sound normal?
Yeah. See?
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I can sing to Christy while you
Stop it.
yell at me. Then you would turn.
This one?
Yeah.
Hey, Paula. That's all I know of the song. It was a
Oh,
cool
really?
song back in the 50s.
My favorite 50s song is "The Leader of the Pack." My favorite part was
The Night Chicago Died is another one of those 50s songs.
"Hey, Marjorie,
Hi, Marjorie.
Hi.
was Josh supposed to be here?"
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna go back home and then.
okay. Well, too bad. You need to pull the seat up. You're going to be part of the Fire Resistant
You have
podcast
to be
now.
part of the podcast if he's not here.
You want me to just tell him to come up here?
Well, I have the car.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm gonna go get him when I'm done.
Okay.
He'll be back, or he'll be here.
Or maybe he won't.
That was Marjorie, Josh's wife.
Yeah.
His lovely
I
wife.
should text Josh and be like, "Hey, your wife."
Hey,
was just on-"
Josh, your wife just came by to see us. Aren't you jealous?
Not only that, but it's like 5 o'clock, so she's
5
got stuff. She's got stuff to do. So that means that he will. My prediction is he will be here by like
6:15.
6:15. Right in time for church.
Church starts at 7.
Yeah, no, but 6:15.
7.
So
Da, 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 da,
so should we try to should we try to do a legit podcast tomorrow?
I'm working tomorrow, dude.
Are you? Yeah.
And I'll be sleeping until I go to work. Unless you want to come to work and do it.
Okay. I can't tomorrow. I got to work as well. I got to work tomorrow as well. So maybe we should have Skyped with him. That's like a good fly swatter.
Not really. It's a little bit limber.
There's something wrong with my fly swatter.
And it has a major delay.
Yeah. Oh, shh. You have to anticipate where the fly is going to.
Here, put that over there so I won't play with it anymore.
That's what she said.
Ah.
Sorry. It was my fault. I'm turning this up all the way so that way I can just do it whenever I want. Yeah. Someone's gonna click on here and they're gonna see going. I'm like, Aaron's on drugs. So is Fred.
No, I'm not. That's not funny.
I know it's not. I apologize. But I'm on drugs.
Yeah, I don't know when you did it. It must have been in your ice cream.
It was in my ice.
You added extra stuff to your ice
yeah,
cream.
It's true. I said, hey, can you add some Reese's and some HTC? Or, I'm sorry, THC. Throw some THC in there. And then now everything's like, I like that button now.
You do like that button.
It's our favorite now. I just think it's funny that Christy joined up here. That shows you. You know what? That was a really good spin that you did. She's our number one female fan.
Yeah.
Okay. But like overall, she's number 3.
No.
Number 1 female fan.
Number 1 female fan. Period. End story.
Well, you know, we're in
Don't get it right.
We're in a world of equal opportunity, and everyone's the same. So I just want to try to make sure I'm not offending anybody. She's our number.
I'm gonna smack you.
She's our number 3 person.
We don't play political correctness around here.
That's true. We don't.
We speak the truth. If it offends you, then you need to grow up and get a job.
Oh, so speaking of that, let me see here. Let's see if I can show you. Show you. So see, like, look, 27 downloads of the
crazy.
first episode, 18, 19, 22. 22 is this is our first episode with all of us here.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So the first episode with us as what we are
The
today,
group.
what we are today, yelling at the Yeti mics. We got 22 episodes, and then me. I think that was the final one with me.
Mm-hmm. Better so.
Was the Blue Belt Hell, and then after that, Sin versus Sin, Nerd
Yep.
Edition, Fidget Spinner, and that's just been all of us ever since. So we've been averaging at least 10 or more downloads, regardless.
Why do you have Proper Dewey and Dewey Part 2?
Or Dewey Take 2 is our makeup podcast that we did with him, and then he came back 2 weeks later because he spoke.
Oh,
Yeah. See, look, we've done so many you don't even remember.
Cool.
And Cut Me Mick, where Josh doesn't speak into the mic the entire time. Would you like me to do my
Cut Me
impression?
Mick.
My impression?
I'm not sending you back in there, Rock.
I'm not going to do it, Rock.
Cut me, Mick. You're a bum.
I can do it.
You're a bum. Get back in there. I love Burgess Meredith. He had an impact on me way before Rocky.
Really?
Yeah, he was the Penguin in the Batman 66 series. He played the Penguin. I used to walk around like after every episode that he was in, like, you know, you're a kid. When you're a kid, you see something, you start mimicking. I was like the Penguin for like a couple of days. I'd be like, yes, Mom.
I can see you doing
Yeah,
that.
me. I was doing it. We all do weird stuff when we're kids, and you know, I loved like Batman. Adam West '66 was my entry into Batman. So yeah, and since they were always in rerun because it was canceled way before I was born, right? So I would watch a majority of all of the episodes at my grandma's house. So they would play 2 episodes back to back, right? For an hour, it'd be Batman. So one episode would end with, "Will this happen? Will Batman escape?" Tune in, same bat channel, same bat time, and then the next episode would be something completely different. Yeah, it'd be a whole different episode. So there are some episodes that I remember watching because, you know, they released them on Blu-ray. So I haven't gone back and watched them all in a row yet, but there are some episodes where I never saw what happened. Just because, you know, the next day when they would do the same time slot, it'd be just another episode.
I see.
Where that wouldn't end on a cliffhanger or that would just end on a different cliffhanger. So rarely did I ever see the ending to the storyline, which, you know, even as a kid, you know that Batman would always get out of it.
Always wins.
Yeah. Because I would always watch Batman, whatever the name of the Batman movie the Batman 66 movie where all of the villains got together and kidnapped all of the leaders of the world. Did you never see that one? No. Oh, yeah. I watched that one all the time. All the time.
Still,
No, I'm sorry, not still, but whenever I was a kid, I'd watch it all the time. I love Batman. I don't know what it was about that Batman that drove me crazy as far as like loving the character, because that Batman is nothing like the 89 Batman that Michael Keaton played or the Batman the animated series Batman.
they have an animated series Batman now.
Yeah, they've had one.
Yeah, okay.
Batman the animated series came out whenever I was a kid, and it's amazing.
I'm sure it is.
They gave us the best. It gave us the best Joker ever, Mark Hamill.
The skater,
Huh?
Mark Hamill, the skater,
Luke Skywalker. The guy that played Luke Skywalker.
the skater,
The skater.
the professional ice skater, Mark Hamill.
No, I don't. That's a terrible joke because I don't know who that is. I don't think anybody ever knows who that is. But anyway,
Maybe
you
it
were
was
saying,
Dorothy Hamill. That's it.
I still don't know who that is. But you were saying, you were trying to say that I like Batman because
Adam West. Adam West. The last thing that he's done that I know of is like The Simpsons.
it was Family Guy where he played himself. He was
Was
the
it Family Guy?
yeah, he was the mayor of Quahog,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
where he played like a satire version of himself. Where he
Yeah.
would several times where, all right, you players of Quahog. It's like there was one episode where he was going to marry his hand. No one's going to stop me from marrying my hand. He was always the mayor of Quahog.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't want to say he did Simpsons. They did a couple of animated movies for Batman 66. There was one called the Dynamic Duo Returns, and then there's another one coming out called it's Batman and Robin versus Two-Face, and it's him and Burt Ward reprising the roles again, and the guy that's playing Two-Face is William Shatner.
Really?
Yeah. And it's
That's funny.
yeah, it's the first one was, I haven't watched all the way, but I mean it got pretty good reviews, and it has the pow, the zap, and the slaps, and yeah, and all they did was just get because at the time Adam West and I think Burke Ward, I think Julie Newmar's still alive, but I don't think they used her voice. I can't remember if Julie Newmar's still alive.
Is that the cat lady?
Yeah, I remember being young and being very attracted to Catwoman.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to see. I think because I know the Riddler is dead. Burgess Meredith is dead.
Yeah.
Cesar Romero is dead. The Riddler's dead. I think that's it. If Julie Newmar's still alive, I can't remember if she is or if she isn't. But that's it. There's Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman, and the Joker were the four main baddies, and I know all of them are dead.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when you go back and if you watch any of those episodes of the old Batman series, especially on Blu-ray, I never noticed it when I was a kid because you just don't notice those type of things. But
Right.
Cesar Romero was a stand-up comedian, and part of his shtick was he had a mustache, and he refused to shave his mustache. So when you go back and you watch those old episodes with the Joker, you'll see his mustache through the paint on his face. And ever since I heard that, you can't unsee it.
Right.
So going forward, like every time I see an episode, I'm like, I just stare at his mustache.
See his mustache.
Yeah, I just stare at his mustache, and it's just like, okay, why couldn't you just shave it? He could have just shaved it. I mean, he was
Dude,
like,
why don't you shave every day?
because
Shaving's a pain in the face.
well, it is a pain in the face, but
It's
I
a
mean,
pain in the face.
yeah,
Look at this.
that's awesome. That's
I hate
epic.
Shaving.
Fred rocks.
The preacher even touched it today. He was like,
Well, he let his grow out, I think, longer than yours. No, it didn't get that long.
no.
So,
It was close to this, but
well, either way, my love for Batman continues. I don't even remember how I got on Batman, but
it's
ultimately,
Batman.
yeah, it's Batman. You can never stop talking about Batman. But the anime,
My favorite series as a kid, of course, I was a kid a long time before you were a kid.
did they have TV back then? Sorry,
One
strike one.
was Gilligan's Island,
I love Gilligan's Island.
and how they could never get off. They could get radio, they could have dynamite, they could have everything in the world, but they couldn't get off the darn island.
Right.
How were they not able to get off the island?
Because if they got off the island, this series would end. Did you ever see the movie where they got off the island and
Yeah.
they turned it into a resort?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was like the finale of the show. It was like a hour and a half TV movie, and they got off the island. I can't remember how, and they turned it into a resort. So I can't remember how long that they were trapped on the island in their
14 years.
Yeah, no, in their timeline. I don't know how long they
It's
were
a
on there, but
long time.
you would think that if people were trapped on an island where nothing was going on, that they would never want to go back to the island. But they turned it into a resort.
It was a great place.
I remember watching that show. So at my grandma's house, which is where I saw a lot of the stuff. Like I would spend summers over there because there's more to do at my grandma's house than at the house where we lived out in Mount Enterprise. And
Mount Enterprise.
yeah, it's a small like if you're driving and
That's funny.
if you're driving and you sneeze, you're through it.
My community where I grew up, his name is Enterprise.
Really?
Yeah, but it's in Oklahoma.
Well, this one
And it's an intersection in the highway.
Well, there's my when we lived there, they had like a 4-way stop, and my brother went and visited at one point, and they turned the 4-way stop into lights, and we're like, oh, it's starting to grow. And then I did a Google Street View recently, and they turned that stoplight
To a circle.
no into stop signs. So it didn't get as much traffic, I guess, as I originally thought it was. But yeah, the point is like I would be able to watch the Batman series in the middle of the day. I would be able to watch Gilligan's Island in the middle of the day, and then at night, my grandma would go to bed at like 5 p.m. So
The chicken's going to bed. It's
Right.
time to go to bed, y'all.
So like, there's nothing for me to do. I mean, I could have stayed at home and played with all my toys, but I was at my grandma's house. But I would just watch like Amen. Do you remember that show, Amen? With I literally have watched all of Amen. I've seen the complete series of Amen. What was the other one that played? There's another one. Like I've seen a majority of the Jeffersons, because they would play the Jeffersons and then the Amen, and then there was something else I can't remember now. But if it comes to me, I'll bring it back up. But like
Was it Heart to Heart?
No, it was something around the same time as Amen. But yeah, what was his name? What was his name in real life?
Sherman Hemsley.
Yeah, Sherman Hemsley. Yeah, I started to say it. It was going to come to me, but yeah, because I would watch the Jeffersons that he was in, and then go and right after that would end, Amen would come on, where he was like the head
The first interracial couple on TV was on that show.
Wow. Do you know where the first interracial kiss took place?
On TV?
Mhm.
No.
It was William Shatner and the lady that played Uhura.
Get out. I could see that.
Yeah, because when they did his roast, when they did William Shatner's roast, she talked about their first kiss, and she's like blah blah blah, and she just like killed him with it, because that's what you're supposed to do in a roast. But ultimately, yeah, that was Star Trek is my dad's fault. My dad would watch Star Trek. There's only a few shows that I remember my dad getting hyped up about, and Star Trek was one of them.
Yeah, my dad watched the Jeffersons. He could do George backwards and forwards. It was funny. He could do the walk and everything that he said and all, everything that went with it. It was funny.
Did he start with All in the Family?
Or
did he just start with the Jeffersons?
I don't really know. I don't remember All in the Family. I remember seeing some of it, but I don't remember it being as big a deal as what is it? All in the Family.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on up.
Yeah. Well, during the point where we talked, two of my friends joined and left. If they come back, Jeff, your link to your Twitch account last night was www.twitch. Your name instead of www.twitch. Your stuff. I tried to watch your stream.
WWE or WWW?
No, he tried to link to his Twitch account, which Twitch is where you go to watch people play video games. He was playing video games on there, and I kept clicking his link. And I'm like, why is this link not working? Because I just wanted to pop on there and watch him and give him some views. And I kept clicking, and it said dead, dead, dead. And I'm like, I don't understand. And then later on, I went back to it, and before I clicked, I looked, and it was instead of www, it was WEE. And it's probably the auto correction probably kicked in and changed it to that rather than.
So is that Peter over there as well?
Peter Morphin, yes. I don't think you've ever met Peter.
I know Peter. He's an air conditioner guy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I know Peter.
I can't remember how people in my life have interacted or not.
UFC.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would be the only way, I guess. Yeah. But I was trying to think. It's like, have you guys ever crossed paths at UFC?
Many times.
Many times. Okay. Well, good.
And I actually have his phone number, and when we were in the housing market, one of the houses had something that I talked to him about it, and he had a fix for the issue and recommendation, but we evidently did buy that same house.
Right.
So, yeah.
Peter's awesome.
Peter.
He'll get your back. Well, he already left. Bye, Peter.
Bye.
Anytime that we see people, I wonder if there's a way that it tells because someone popped on and then popped off, and it didn't tell us who joined.
I guess they just didn't care what we were talking about.
No, or they were just like, "Oh, it is Aaron."
It's
Bye.
Aaron and Fred.
Yeah, it is Aaron. Bye.
Bye. There's a little bit of a delay on the camera.
Think so? Well, of course there is because. See, like 1, 2, not too bad. Someone's gonna join in. Yeah, 1.
Aaron's tripping again.
Look at my fingers.
How does it do that?
How does my brain tell my fingers to do that? I can't stop. Oh,
It
man.
may be a bad thing that you found that button switch.
Maybe we'll see.
Knob, whatever it is.
We'll see, sir. You never know. It may become the greatest thing ever.
It could be.
That whistle. Try it now. Whistle. Who cares? See, that sounds like way better. You should do like, who cares? Who cares? Yeah, see, that's what we need to do. I think as we expand, because there's a way that we can plug in through this, we should have like an extra
switch.
Well, just an extra thing to where, like, when you are ready to hit it, we'll just have a sound drop or just boom, and then you come up with "Who cares?" But we do it where you're not laughing, and it'll just be a sound drop that we can do. I think that'd be awesome.
I mean, like a button that says "Who cares?"
Yeah, you could do it on your phone. We could plug directly into your phone.
Really?
We can just go into these spots right here. We can have something where a couple of like
an FX button.
Yeah, something like that, or like a soundboard or something. Hey, John, welcome to the Fire Resistant Podcast, Facebook Live edition. What's going on?
Hey, John. It's Fred.
John.
Peace.
Have you met John? I don't think you've met John Cox before. John Cox would be a person that I would love to have on the Fire Resistant Podcast, actually.
Well, make it happen.
Well, he lives all the way out by Frisco now.
Oh, my God.
We'd have to pay for his gas.
I'll do that.
Okay, you hear that, John? We will pay for your gas to come be on the Fire Resistant Podcast.
Not tonight, because we're already doing it.
Yeah. Don't come down here.
We're already cooking now.
Yeah, we're already
going to
cooking.
be done here in about 20 minutes.
Probably. If
see, look, Josh ain't coming back. It's already
5:30. Yeah. By the time that we get fired up in the real podcast, it'll be time for you to go preach tonight.
And yeah, I'm just getting to preach tonight. I can't speak, but I'm getting to preach tonight.
Well,
I tried to send out a thing on the AMPed webpage.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this. Back to John real quick before he bounces. What?
Did it work?
Yeah, I think so.
Will that go out to everybody?
It should.
Cool.
I think we should have. I think we should have John on here. I think you guys would mesh very well.
You think we would?
Yeah, I think you guys would. And then after you guys fight to the death, because that's what would happen, because I would make that happen, because we're going to pay for somebody's gas to drive all the way out here.
Somebody's gonna bleed.
Yeah, someone's going to die.
You're not a very nice person, Aaron.
Well,
You surprise me sometimes.
do you
with
remember
some of the things you plan?
John came up here the very first Egghead meeting that we had. Do you remember that? Pastor did. I can't remember if you were working. You may have been working at the time, but Pastor did this thing where it was called Eggheads. He was trying to get some younger people that were trying to think outside the box, as far as just like, if someone has a question about the inside of a black hole, just chatting about that time. That's where the whole time thing came into play that you dislike me so much about. He came to the
It's
first.
ridiculous.
When we do the podcast, actually, we normally do it after church on Wednesdays, which I know that you guys have Wednesdays. Yeah. That was a lot of likes going through, huh?
Wow, that's cool. I don't know who that set was, but thank you.
But
For
we
your
normally
likes and your shares.
Yeah, we normally do it Wednesday after church, but like if you wanted to do the podcast, we definitely we'd find a way to get you in here, whether it be like a central meeting spot between here and Frisco, or or next time you're on this side of town, we can get it figured out, because we like to have various different types of people. And John, not to boost his ego, but he's very intelligent in the Bible. He has a lot of years in the ministry, mostly all in the youth area. So we could talk about youth with him, because he's preached. I want to say was out in Brownsville. He was at Trinity, and now he's at. It slips my mind the name of the church. I'm sure he'll type it in. But the church I used to go to, Trinity, sponsored a church out in Frisco where him and a guy named JT serve. JT is the head preacher, and I believe John's over the youth department. So
Very cool.
Like many years in the at working with youth. So he's seen, if I remember correctly, I think he's been in there long enough to be pre cell phone and post cell phone as far as when it comes to youth goes. So
so he's closer to my age than yours.
Well, he's 40, maybe 39, maybe 41. I don't know. He's
closer to yours than
he's closer to Jer's age than mine, but
well, he's closer to you than he is.
Yeah, for sure. But the point is he maybe with the talk with him could help us with our work here at Amped, with the lack of motivation.
Maybe we could steal him away from the other church.
No, that will never happen. That will never happen. Providence.
Just kidding.
Yeah, Providence Baptist Church.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Providence. Yeah, it's JT, and I can. If someone's over in Frisco and looking for a church, that would be the church to go to, because I know that.
What's the name of it again?
It's called Providence Baptist Church.
Awesome.
And they were part of the same group of, they called us Young Preacher Boys. It was JT, it was John, it was me, it was a guy named Christian, and a guy named Nosh, where we would meet up at church on Saturday mornings with like a 5 to 10 minute. Oh, and Jeffrey was there. We would meet up at the church. I think it was about 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, with 10-minute sermon each, and they would record us.
Oh, cool.
And we would watch ourselves, and we would critique ourselves, and a lot of good it did me. I still stink. I know.
Whatever. You're your worst own critic.
Yeah, but ultimately, there's some things that we were able to try to get ironed out.
And they've followed the path.
Yeah, I mean, JT he's a former Marine, so he's got this loud, boisterous voice. I'd show you a picture of him. He's a pretty funny guy. Michelle Jesse has joined. Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
We'll be seeing her later on tonight at Amped.
Yeah, she'll be here at church in a minute.
Yep, but yeah, JT and John are fantastic men who, I can't say enough about them.
What would be the possibility of maybe getting JT over here as well?
I think JT would be on the podcast as well. I think he would be excellent as well. I can't stop saying as well, but yeah, I think JT would be
also.
Yeah. Also, because yes, two. But no, I think JT and I think JT and John maybe together on a podcast.
That was exactly what I was thinking.
But I would like to get
maybe we could take a road trip.
We could.
take this show on the road.
Ooh, we're already taking it on the Facebook road.
Facebook.
We've already been here. We've been chatting away we're now at 45 minutes. This is insane.
How long?
45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just talk about nothing. Silly stuff.
Silly stuff and the
Talking like a crazy man.
And who cares? But yeah, I mean, I think they would be good. There's another guy at Trinity. His name is Ryan Jones. He works for a company. I hate to use the word company, but it's a missionary establishment, I guess is the best way to put it, named Manna, and he travels the world. He's not so much as a missionary, but he is. But he goes out and does work in the field and just comes back. He's not something that I don't think that they establish churches. I think they just go and help churches and then come back. Like he just took like a truckload of food to, when I say truckload, I'm talking like a 18-wheeler size food down to Houston.
Awesome.
So, I mean, just talking to him when Pastor and I first started talking about doing a podcast, we called it Righteous Anger because of the last name, of course. I spoke to Ryan, and Ryan was like, yeah, I'll come on the podcast. But that was like, I can't remember what.
2 years ago.
No. This predated Pastor's heart attack.
Oh, well,
Yeah, so that's how long ago it was. I still have the.
were they doing podcasts back then?
Yeah. What's a podcast?
What's a podcast?
Yeah, but yeah, he said he'd come on. I know it was a long time ago. Ryan's a good guy. There's a lot of good people at Trinity.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And he's still here local in this part of the world.
Yeah, his home church is Trinity. If he's not out, I know before he went to Houston. I think he was in Guatemala. Don't quote me on that, but he's going. They go everywhere. I know that the church has a sponsored church out in the Philippines that they go and help out too. Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, so Brother Woody established a really, really solid church over there at Trinity.
And then he just dropped the mic. I'm done, y'all.
No, he didn't.
Peace.
No.
You know, Woody's
hold on. Skylar's here. Skylar Gamble, who's going to be he's going to be on the Fire Resistant podcast. We're going to be talking End of the World Apocalypse. Get your stuff ready. Dig a hole in the ground and bury your food there. The economy's failing. The environment's failing. The president's failing. What are we gonna do? We're going to build an underground bunker. No. Okay. Hey, Skylar. He probably just jumped off of me.
He was like,
I can't click.
Bye.
He's like, I can't click X fast enough. I can't click X fast enough. But Skylar, you're going to be. Skylar
has left the podcast.
Skylar is another highly intelligent friend of mine, and that we're going to have on the podcast. Or I guess technically of ours that we're going to have on the podcast.
We had an interesting
off-camera
experience that centered around Skylar several months ago.
Yeah, we could talk about that too if he doesn't mind.
I wasn't talking about his part of it. We went down there and kidnapped him. It was a great day.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
A lot of fun. Nothing else about that. But when we were coming back in our rented car with Aaron Blaine behind the wheel, who didn't bother to check the plates on the truck. On the vehicle.
Who checks the plate?
Who
checks the plates on a rented car?
It's just one of those things. And we were in Houston. We live in the Metroplex, and we're coming north. Somewhere before we got to Huntsville, I think.
Yeah, maybe after.
It might have been after Huntsville.
Because it was after we ate.
Right, but it was before Corsicana, out in that long stretch of just nothingness on Highway 75. And had the cruise control set, and we were just four guys hammered down the road, headed back home after a great day. And there's a policeman, state trooper, parked in the median, like they do. And we were driving not more than 7 or 8 miles over the speed limit.
It was like 81.
Yeah. So, and the posted speed limit there is 75. So we were no reason for him to bother us. But
Skylar said,
here he comes.
Skylar says he wants a voice changer too. Guess what, Skylar? You're going to get the voice changer. And you can do it anytime you want to because you're the guest. Sunday. Anyways, continue with your story.
So we're driving, casual, laughing, cutting up, 4 clowns in the car. No red noses, and the red and blue lights come on, and Blaine's like, he's pulling us over, and I'm like, what, really? And we pulled over, and I'm like, get your wallet, get your license, blah blah blah, taking the lead like I know something or something, and turned on the interior lights, and he popped up at my window and kind of startled me. It's like, whoa, I thought you're coming over there. But I guess they've changed their ways of doing things.
Well, we were driving a big SUV.
Yeah, it was.
So he didn't have a lot of room between him and the road.
And well, I've noticed that they do that now. They come to the passenger side
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, and he just wanted to talk to us a minute, check us out, because we evidently had out of state.
We had Missouri,
and we're headed north.
Yeah.
On a major drug thoroughfare coming out of the port of Houston and stuff. He wanted to talk to us.
We love our
to make sure we weren't doing anything illegal,
No, what was crazy?
Anyway.
What was crazy about that whole scenario? I keep learning stuff from you. I need to stop learning stuff from you. This is terrible.
Dude, I'm 55. You should learn a whole bunch of stuff from me.
So if you're listening or if you're watching, if you get pulled over by a cop
at night,
and it's at night, make sure to turn on your interior
all
lights,
of them, front side, back side.
Well, I would be careful reaching behind you, but the ones that are in front, you always just turn on. Just reach up there, boop, turn it on, so that way and Fred had told me at the time, you do that so that way the cop can see everything inside the car, and
he knows you're not hiding anything.
And it helps calm down a possible situation.
Yeah.
This guy was cool from the very beginning.
Right.
He just we were speeding. I mean, we were
barely speeding.
Well, but we were speeding.
But he also told us that.
Right. He told us why he pulled us over, but we were speeding, so he could have given me a ticket for 7 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah.
But he actually told me to get out of the car, which made me extremely nervous because, not that I thought he was going to shoot me or anything like that, but no. But usually when a cop tells you to get out, it's like, oh crap, there's something wrong. And
we're gonna talk now.
But no, he opened up the passenger door for me. I sat in the front next to him, talked about everything, and then he just said, the food is here. The food got here before Josh did. Anyways, he just said that, he told us why, told me why. We joked a little bit, and, he led us on our way. And that's the only time I've ever heard of a state trooper. I've never run into another state trooper that I've heard let somebody go. So,
yeah. But he also did tell us that he would never routinely stop somebody doing less than 10 miles an hour over the speed limit or less.
Right.
But because we had out-of-state tags, and it is Highway 75 coming out of Houston, he wanted to make sure we weren't taking some illicit stuff north.
Gilmore and Josh were in the back.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So we're at 53 minutes. The food's here. Yep. And there I see my son, Brett. Hey, look, Zach joined. Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
Hello.
Zach's going up to Pittsburgh to enjoy a Steelers game. The Vikings versus the Steelers. I have an idea that the Steelers are going to destroy the Vikings. And my idea comes from Zach, by the way. I don't know anything about any of the teams. He just said that the Vikings aren't as good as the Steelers, so he expects the Steelers to win. But he's going to be seeing that game live up in Pittsburgh. So
okay,
safe flight,
peace.
But we're going to
enjoy.
We're going to take off. As you saw, my son in the background. It's time to go. Josh never showed up. There's my family. Hold on.
There's baby Elise.
My sexy Christy.
Stop it. You're even embarrassing her.
Well, she can't hear it now. She can only just hear my gross voice without the voice changer. But, all right. I guess this is our Fire Resistant podcast for this week. I'm Aaron.
I'm still Fred.
And I'm Josh.
Peace.
See ya.